All right. May I have your attention, please? Do turn off your microphone and turn on your camera for more fun interaction today. All right. Bismillah and Assalamualaikum and also good morning to everyone. My name is Hamdi and today I will be your moderator. Not to forget also to our invited panel this morning, Professor Dr. Doris Padmini Selvaratnam and Puan Syamila Uda Hassan. Welcome everyone, panel members, ladies and gentlemen present on this morning. On today's sharing, our topic is how does the COVID-19 affect the economy of the indigenous community? Before we start our sharing today, I would like to introduce our speakers to you. With us, our first speaker, Professor Dr. Doris Padmini Selvaratnam. Good morning, Dr. Doris.
Good morning.
Dr. Doris is a lecturer from Faculty of Economy and Management. She has specialization in community development, social impact assessment, and also social entrepreneurship. Next, we have our second speaker, Puan Syamila Uda Hassan. Good morning, Puan Syamila.
Hi, morning. Morning.
Puan Syamila is from Kampung Orang Asli Semai, Perak. She is currently doing her own business in SME cake and traditional kueh. She is also a partner in marketing Indigenous Perak handicraft. For your information, Puan Syamila is doing her business for the past 5 years, which is since 2018. She is also a writer and translator for Persatuan Kebudayaan and Kesenian Orang Asli Perak. Alright, before I start, I would like to give a small brief regarding on our topic today. So I hope everyone here are aware of the pandemic and how it actually affects the economy of our country, Malaysia. So basically, how does the indigenous people around Malaysia were able to opt with the increasing of prices on groceries and many more? To explain more about on this topic, I would like to invite our first speaker, Dr. Doris, to give a speech on entrepreneurship among the indigenous people during COVID-19. And my dear audience, feel free to drop your question in the comment box. The floor is yours, Dr. Doris.
Okay, thank you, Hamdi. Well, indigenous community, you must remember, is different from the natives in Sabah and Sarawak. Indigenous community are only in Peninsular Malaysia, and the tribes vary. There's so many ethnic groups, and many of the mainstream community do not know who the indigenous community are also. One is because many of the indigenous community are not in the mainstream education, dropping out and not joining university, or sometimes when they join the university, they do not identify themselves as an Orang Asli. Maybe because of the social development, what is going on among their friends and all, some of them feel shy to identify as an Orang Asli also. And sometimes the indigenous community also do not want to identify with their cultural identity, as in the way they dress, putting on the headgear, displaying decorative items in their day-to-day. So this
Sorry,
happens.
Doctor.
Yes.
Are you sharing the screen?
Not yet, not yet.
Oh, okay, Doctor.
All right. So this happens because of challenges that the indigenous community experience because of the demands of the mainstream community. So if like when we compare the natives of Sabah and Sarawak, many of them will proudly wear the traditional attire. But among the indigenous community, it is probably in very rare occasions if there is a call for their dance, for parade, then they will wear their traditional attire. And why we look at entrepreneurship among the indigenous community? Because of the situation that they are encountering. Income generating activities is more important compared to if finding a job. And many of the indigenous community do not have a solid basic education, although the skills for TVET and making repairs and such is very high, but these skills are not fully utilized and not capitalized due to lack and awareness of education. So what happens is that we, coming from the university background, we try to encourage the indigenous community to be involved in entrepreneurship activities to ensure a sustainability of livelihood. This is also important because indigenous community are rich with the natural resources, rich with the culture. So the model that we approach for imparting this entrepreneurship skills is using a holistic social entrepreneurship model. So as lecturer or as researcher, we impart knowledge to the students, and working with the students, we work with the indigenous community. And working with the indigenous community, we also work with trainers, mentors, and also researchers. So that when we work in an ecosystem, the indigenous community do not feel that they are left alone. And this engagement will help to ensure that the learning is much more friendly. So this impact in terms of social, economic, or political is identified by the indigenous community themselves. And the indicators are identified so that we can measure the changes easily, and we can identify that these changes are made for the community well-being as a whole. So changes is important, but we need to have this KPI or key performance index, and it is constantly monitored and evaluated. And all this is also in line with the sustainable development goals, because indigenous community is already the guardian of the forest, the guardian of the land. So if we give them more skills, that they will become more empowered to bring a better change and also take care of the land much better. So that means we are working hand in hand. Okay, and it is important to have stakeholder engagement. So we do not work alone. Knowledge empowerment is from the community, from the indigenous community, but we work together with other stakeholders as well. So other stakeholders, whether it is from the government, from private sector, NGOs, or individuals. This dialogue is important so that everything is transparent. And activities that is carried out from the university for the entrepreneurship skills, or whether it is for food distribution, digital skills enhancement, ecotourism training, TVET learning for income generating program or education program, all this is designed because of identification from the indigenous community. So the program is bottom up and top down, merging together. Okay, so many activities conducted must give power and must give voice to the community. If this does not give power and voice to the community, they will not sustain the activities. So you can see here they are making handcrafts. So this is already in the culture. They already do handcrafts for many generations. It's handed down. But now they are commercializing this and generating income. And we also encourage them, give them skills to sell their produce in exhibitions. For ecotourism, because they are the guardian of the jungle, the forest, the land. So now that skill, they also impart to the visitors. So this is part of the summer school program at the Faculty of Economics and Management. So here they are giving the briefing before entering into the forest. So this is the waterfalls at the forest. This is a location in Semenye, Kampung Kacau Luar, and this is a group photograph. And here, this is much more modern activity today, because last time it's used to be a subsistence farming. They only pluck the vegetables from their environment for their own use, but today they can also sell it. But from the university, we educate them in terms of pricing and how to market their product, how to package their product, so that they are not cheated by the middleman. Sometimes 1 kg of vegetable is only sold for 3 ringgit or 5 ringgit. But we educate them, we tell them 1 kilogram of vegetable is very, very cheap if sold by 3 ringgit or 5 ringgit. So you should go by the market price or slightly lower than the market price. Okay. So these are other activities, musical instruments, the dance. So visitors are also given an opportunity to learn. And then cooking the indigenous community style. The food is very, very different. It's more nutritious. If you talk about whether they use oil and all, this is much more healthy. Okay, experience living in the forest with the indigenous community. So these are the results from the program that we have done. We have come up with the indigenous cultural kit. We also have participated in Ministry of Higher Education sponsored program. Although we did not receive an award, but we were in the running. So I think that is already a huge achievement for the community. And then during the pandemic, there is a lot of training done online to give opportunities for the indigenous community to sell their produce. Shamila was also one of the participants. And Shamila was also, probably she will be sharing later on the advantages, the benefits that we have received from this program. Okay, so this is before the COVID-19. Everything is face-to-face, physical. The students can go to the community. The indigenous community can come out of the community and to do various programs. Okay, and this is also research and also programs that we have conducted. Okay, this is the training center we have done for them, putting up lights. So these are all in different locations. Okay, and then during the pandemic, okay, everything is limited, but we still have to do programs. We have to do planning, because if we do not do planning, the execution of the program is very slow, or maybe it doesn't take off at all. And during the pandemic, there's a lot of distribution of sanitary and health products, and also the face masks. And we entered to several villages, and this was very important for us to do, because awareness on health and sanitary is also important among the indigenous community. We can't say that the pandemic only affect the mainstream community or the international community. So even the indigenous community, some of them were also down with COVID-19. So we need to tell them, I know in the whole village, everybody is a family. But even in the village, you need to have social distancing and take care of your health. So during the pandemic, towards the end of it, we also visit Sungai Buah community to conduct a program for the future. And yeah, this is the program that even Shamela participated for online classes and also for sharing. Was a summit program with the international community. So because of the discussion with the Sungai Buah Tok Batin, so we went in to give some provisions. We also did a stock take of the situation in the village, as in the condition of the houses. And we also get to see the durians that are fruiting. So now it is in season and they can enjoy. And yeah, because of the ecotourism, I also tell the community that if they want to capitalize on the durians that are fruiting right now, they should make use of it as an attraction to bring in the foreigners and also the local tourists to their village. Thank you. So back to you, Hamdi.
Thank you for such an informative speech, Dr. Doris. I hope everyone would have gained some new knowledge regarding on this topic today. Now, I would like to open a Q&A session. So if everyone have a question for Dr. Doris, you can open your mic or write in the chat box. So anyone have, if you have any question for Dr. Doris? All right, doctor. There is one question from Anisha. The question is, did the travel restriction imposed by the government during the COVID-19 pandemic inhibit the economic activities of the indigenous people?
All right, thank you, Anisha. Yes, during the pandemic, just like the other mainstream community members, because of the movement control order, the indigenous community cannot come out to participate in economic activity if they have formal jobs, because many of them take part in job related to either government job, construction, or manufacturing. And because of the movement control order, they cannot do that. But because of the social system among the indigenous community is very strong, good, and reliance on the forest resources, what is available in their environment, those who practice the traditional farming, those who still practice relying on nature, many of them also survive better. Their coping mechanism is so much better. And they are able to overcome issues of food security. In fact, we did do a very short survey in terms of food safety and food security. The understanding and practice among the indigenous community is much better compared to the urban or mainstream community. So the indigenous community are able to rely more on naturally produced vegetables, whether it is poultry, etc. And also the way or the style of cooking is much more healthier compared to the mainstream community. In terms of sourcing for income, definitely during the pandemic, it was a challenge. But some of the indigenous community who were able to adapt to the digital platform learned to market their produce online, and also some of them picked up new skills to become, for example, to become a drop shipper, and some even participate as a food panda delivery person. So opportunity presented itself when the situation is so desperate. And if you look at the situation right now, subsidies are being pulled back. Cost of living is going up. So indigenous community usually will have a better mechanism to face the situation compared to the mainstream community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Doris. There is a second question for you, Doctor. The question is, how does the source of income of some indigenous communities who were among those working in the private sector as well as government during the COVID-19 hit? How does they able to manage the situation?
Okay, I did not do a specific survey on how was their mechanism, but as we can also see, generally there is coverage by like research conducted by My Harapan Foundation, Khazana Research, and also coverage made by NGOs and several government agencies, that when MCO was implemented, it was implemented across board. There was no choice of, this community you can move freely, that community you can move freely, and another community, no, you cannot move freely. It was for everybody, only can move within 5 to 10 kilometers. So it was not which community, but everybody was affected by the job loss or working from home, and also as in maybe pay cuts. And as to how well they are able to manage it, I would say that the indigenous community to a certain extent were much better compared to the mainstream community, but not all the time, because even the jungle resources, some of it has been depleting over the years. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. So there are also a question from Sashpreet. Hi, good morning, Doctor. In your opinion, how will indigenous people go through their life during pandemic?
Okay, thank you for this question. So during the pandemic, because there is a movement control order, so the indigenous community do not come out of their village. In fact, some of them were so scared they went further into the jungle, because they believe that if they go deep into the jungle, they will be safe from the pandemic. But the reality is, if you no matter where you run, if people from outside are coming into your area, you will still be exposed. So the best option is to be fully covered. And vaccination is given free by the government. And from medical aspect, the government made sure that the health officers went to all the villages to help ensure that everybody was given the vaccination. So it's vaccination 1, vaccination 2, and the booster vaccination. So if the indigenous community can come out of the village, they came to the clinics. But if they did not manage to come out, the government made sure, working together with the welfare department, Jabatan Kemajuan Orang Asli, the Orang Asli Welfare Department, made sure that the health officers were taken into the village to give them the coverage, the health coverage that they needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. And fourth question from Kirtigasini. Good morning, Doctor. What are the efforts of government departments or NGOs to help the indigenous community other than financially during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Okay, if you remember seeing the slides just now, there are handouts given for the indigenous community in terms of food. So food baskets, packages of the basic needs item is given to the indigenous community. So this is given as per household. And besides the basic food for the community, they were also given health products. Because right now, if it is the pandemic, they should be keeping their selves, their family, and their environment clean. And they were also given small sessions on how to utilize the hand sanitizers. They were also given sessions on how to wear the mask. And at the same time, there were a lot of brochures being done by researchers, not just from UKM, but also from other universities, from NGOs, individuals, government agencies, to also provide materials, reading materials, posters, brochures, so that the indigenous community will become more aware and educated about what they should do if they have some respiratory problem, some health problem, and if they need to get medical attention, where should they be going? And this is important because if they do not know how to respond to a medical emergency, they will not be able to address the situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. So I can conclude that during pandemic, the community survivability is much promising, even those in hardship. And it's even better with the help from other government and also NGOs.
Yes.
So thank you, Doctor, for answering all the questions. Next, let's move on to our second speaker, Puan Shamila. So, Puan Shamila, can you share with us on how was your business during this pandemic and what are the problems you face? The floor is all yours, Puan Shamila.
Okay, thank you, moderator, our Muhammad Hamdi. And first of all, I would like to thanks to Miss Anissa too from IMEP Planning Economic Courses, for invite me to share my experience, my experience during the pandemics to you guys, and also I would like to express my gratitude and thankfulness for to our fellow speaker, Associate Professor Dr. Doris from UKM, who is also very very good to me. Always invite me to share my experience, always invite me to join whatever talk and courses that he get involved with Indigenous people. Okay. Secondly, my name is Shamila, Puan Shamila. I am from Kampung Orang Asli Semai, Perak. I am from Semai tribes or ethnic. We actually indigenous. We have a lot of ethnic. Small ethnics is more like 18 ethnic in Peninsular Malaysia, but specifically in Perak, the Semai ethnic is the bigger one, and a lot of us are here in Perak, but different in Selangor where they have a Mahameri and also Jakun, and some of the Dr. Roris has already explained some of the different ethnic. I think it's Jakun, right, in the kampung in Semenyih area. Okay, so particularly we are almost the same, but our language, maybe culture is quite different. Okay, I'm from Perak also. Okay, now I'm not staying in kampung or in my village. I'm staying in a small town of Perak here in Sri Manjung, and because of my own family have a work here, and also I did my business. I start my business here. Before this, I'm working in private sector in Selangor. So after a few years, then I come back to Perak and start doing business here in, I think it's around toward ends of 2018. Okay, and then there is where I know Dr. Doris because he invite all the entrepreneur and small businesses people in Orang Asli community or Indigenous people to join some of the courses, speakers, workshop, and so on. Okay. Actually, my background is nothing to do with all this handcraft baking or something. Before this, I have my first degree in engineering and my second degree in business management. Okay. Well, as I said just now, I start my business end of 2008, and start selling baking products, specifically selling cakes and traditional kuih and cookies. Like the Hari Raya kuih is similar, okay, and also cakes, also from birthday cake, vanilla cakes to brownies to cheesecake, everything. I did everything, okay, but in a small business. I mean small scale, not a big one, because I don't have a physical shop, but I did everything baking, selling in my house, and then I distribute my cakes and kuih and my cookies to local cafes. You know, when you go to like local coffee cafes like that, you will see that some of the cakes or pastry or something. Some of these local cakes or cafes, they don't bake their own cakes and pastry. They take this from supplier or the other people, or we call it third person. Okay, so the same thing. That is what I do. This is before the pandemic. Okay, so I supply them my cakes depending on their demands. What cake, like chocolate cake, vanilla cake, birthday cakes, or brownies, mango cheesecake, okay, biscoff or something like that. So I will distribute my products to these local cafes, and also the people who know me can directly call and order, and they will whether I will go COD, meaning that I delivered myself to them, or they will come and take from my house. Okay, this is before the pandemic. So when the pandemics, this is okay. Slowly from cakes businesses, this is my main business. So meaning that I produce or provide some cakes, and slowly after that, my client, my customer, my loyal customer asked me to do some party bag, goodie bags, goodies for small event like weddings, for school gatherings, for birthday events, you know. So yeah, I also start doing it, start provide these services too, but I only take the order for the attendance that lower than 200 people, because you know I don't have any staff. I do it myself, all myself. I'm baking, and also I do it for the party packs, goodies and everything. And then start from there, people start demanding to do some flower bouquet, flower and chocolate bouquet. I think this is very, very high demand now, because people are like the bouquet ideas. So I start to learn how to do it and start selling it. And also I package it with my cakes. So normally I will give some special discount or special price, so that they can take both cakes and also bouquet. Okay, this one is my main businesses. So my second business, this one is more to partnership. For next slide is I get involved with our traditional handicraft, and also a few of art in orang asli. Okay, this is some of the products. I'm not doing it because I don't have a skill to do it, but this one is more to like I am as a marketer or a third person to market it to the other people. I took the product from my villages because I want to help them, especially the ladies. They have the skill on weaving, doing some good basket, mats, mengkuang mats, okay, mengkuang basket, rattan rings, rattan basket, and some sort of this kind of handicraft. They have the skill, but they didn't know how to sell it, where to sell it, because they normally they stay in kampong, right? They stay in village. They don't really go to out, and they don't really have a physical shop or online shop or something. They don't know how and where to sell it, and also the area for the village normally for our indigenous people is more into the rural area. So that's why we try to help them to earn something out of they have a skill, because you know if you can produce it a good products, but you cannot market, and then what's the point, right? So number one is helping, you know, people to recognize also the indigenous people handcraft, to appreciate our culture, and also to show the world that we have this type of products. Okay, so that's why I get involved with them and sell through my contacts. I have a few customers, so I will talk to them, advertise for them. I make a copywriter write for them, for advertisement for them. Sometimes I get involved as a presenter when my Persatuan Kesenian and Budaya Orang Asli Perak get involved in small exhibition and small events throughout in Malaysia, international or locally. We will bring this product, and sometimes we bring the waiver to the exhibition so that they can, you know, communicate with other people, but they maybe have a limited communication skill. That's why I sometimes become a translator for them, because the visitor normally come from local and also international. So this is where my role is. Okay, some of the product also is photo card and also postcard. The first one, you can see the tanding one. That is example of our photo card and postcard. This one normally high demand from the international visitor. They like to see traditional outfit of the indigenous people, so they like to purchase this kind of gift or photo card or postcard in what we call a lot of picture. Okay, so this is my second or my partnership other than my main business, a part of that. Okay, so next one. Next slide. When the pandemic is happened, hit us around 2019, end of 2019, and here in Malaysia, the government implement the MCO started March, I think 2020, right? So I be honest that everyone, is not only me, affected, especially small businesses like me, really affected. Okay, like our production and activity totally slowing down, but it's not totally shut down, but it's slowing down by at least 70%. I can only sell, like, I cannot push it because I cannot go distribute. The cafe is all closed out, so I cannot distribute. Only people that call directly or contact me directly if they want, then I can sell it and send it to them. So it's totally slowing down, and 100% for event is stopped because there is no activity at all. Okay, like wedding and everything is cancelled. So that on that part is 100% stop, shut down. And for handicraft also is stopped 100% because I cannot cross going back to my village to take the product because the product is with them. Okay, normally I only contact with my customers through the other platform, like online platform. So I cannot get the product, I cannot sell it. So 100% stop. And also because of the limited access internet, so communicate with the viewer, my villagers is totally limited, totally gone. Some of them, they don't have phone. Some of them, they don't have internet line, whether through phone or home line. Okay, so totally we have to stop this. And during the pandemic, I only like get 40% out of the earning before the pandemic is hit. Okay, so I am surviving. What I do is next one, how to I overcome the problem is, because before this, like Dr. Doris said, I already joined some of the classes or workshop that especially on the e-commerce, but at that time I'm not 100% push it using the e-commerce or e-platform. But when the pandemic hits, it's time for me to take this opportunity to open online businesses, my businesses through online. I open a Shopee platform. I open some Facebook page for my cakes, and I changed my WhatsApp status by using the WhatsApp business, and also open Instagram for my business, specifically for my business, and started learn also on the editing skill, photo skill. I take a few online courses because during the pandemic, the government also offer us a few free like courses or workshop, 1 day or 2 days, for editing, for e-commerce, for graphic designing, for copywriting. So I take the opportunities where I learn a lot about this and start experimenting and start doing it, okay, for my business. So I learned how to take a photo, a nice photo, and start edit while using the application. And as you can see that sometimes I use Canva to edit and also to advertise my product and upload through the FB, Shopee, and IG. Okay. Also learn how to boost the business, do the Facebook ad, but this one sometimes limited because it needs some money and also needs a lot of time. Other than baking, which is taking a lot of time too, I have to monitor the engagement, my advertisement, every hour to see how when is the peak hours and something. So this is quite difficult for me because I don't have any staff to do it. Most of the big company maybe like they have a specific like group department to manage it, but for us small like this own business owner, we have to do it all, everything. We have to take photo, we have to deliver it, we have to always make our pages look pretty, and update every day. So it's challenging. And number 3, I did some online partnership, collaborate with other people, with other businessmen. This is what is mean that I have a lot of friends which is also doing some business. So normally we exchange our product, like I buy her or his product and he also do it the same, and we leave some good reviews to each other. So this will actually help boost our business too. Okay, we exchange our customer, meaning that his customer will become my customer will become his customer through online. All is online. Okay, because pandemic there is limited. We during MCO especially, we cannot travel more than 5 kilometer radius, if not mistaken, on that time. Okay, so I cannot go travel to a very far from my place. Okay, so and I started for the 4th one. I started to use delivery services such as Foodpanda, GrabFood, GNT, and open some account with GNT, because through Shopee, IG, there's a lot of order from outside Perak. Okay, so I started posting using the GNT, and for delivery, if I cannot go outside myself, and then I'm using Foodpanda and GrabFood. Of course, this is need some money too. Okay, and also like Foodpanda and GrabFood, you need a stable Wi-Fi connection. So if the villages, I don't think they have disadvantages, because I live in a small town still I have phone fixed line, so I still can use this kind of services. Okay, I am grateful and thankful for this, and because of this, I still can my business still can operate. Only it doesn't matter, it's not 100%, maybe it's like 40%. I'm still grateful. And also for the other my friend engineers people who did the same businesses like me, they force sometimes to do more than one job at one time. Maybe they take second job, part-time job, because of their main income is maybe lower during the pandemic time, because of some are forced to end the contract or something, so they need to do to earn something, so they need to do the other job. And for me, I'm thankful because even though the earning is lower, get deduct from before, but I still can manage. I have saving, so I still can spend my money to do all these services, like going online workshop. I did pay some editing application, using the services, delivery services, and so on. Okay, so after the pandemic, the business is slowly growing as usual. So yeah, my business is now quite doing okay like before. And also my Shopee, my online shop, is also doing well. I get a lot of followers too. Okay, but yeah, you have to spend a lot of time to learn, and also money to do it, to be honest. So I think that's about it. So if you have any question, you can ask. If you want to know anything, you also can email me directly, or maybe you can ask. If you want to keep in touch with me, you can also ask through Dr. Doris. Okay, thank you so much. I think that's all. Back to you, moderator Hamdi.
Thank you, Puan Shamila. Wow, it's such an amazing. Puan Shamila, you do so much job alone. So seems you you work like a middleman, right? Which I believe one of the good strategy for entrepreneur, even it is a lot of work. So for sure, this COVID-19 pandemic has hit you hard. And you also have explained how do you overcome this situation. So Puan, if there are any tips you can give to the people who are struggling with their small business?
I think for the tips is that you have to be open and willingness to learn more. Don't limit yourself into one type of path. You have to open and learn about anything. If there is opportunity, you grab it. Like because my background is not totally not in business and so on. I didn't learn it before this. So when the pandemic hits, I take the opportunity. I always love to learn. So a lot of institutions, local universities, some organization, they offer a few courses, a few workshops free at that time, because they know that people lose their income and so on. So they offer this opportunity. So for me, I take it. I take I learn. Okay, I learn many so much. I take that opportunities. So maybe maybe you not immediately use the skill, but maybe it's for the future, or maybe you can share it with the other people in the future. So yes, that is what I did for the tips to survive. And also, if you have a lot of energy, like you are a younger person, you maybe want to do it like what I said, have forced to do it like two work in one time. Okay, take some part time, enhance yourself, do some other skill. Okay, learn other skill, like not only maybe you work professionally as something, but you also can learn, upgrade your skill, like involved in jahitan, right, sorry, sewing, cooking, anything. So for me, yes, that is the tips. A part of e-commerce, I think nowadays that people need to learn, need upgrade their online knowledge. I think that's it.
Thank you for incredible sharing session, Puan Shamila. I hope the tips will help others as well. Okay, before we move on to the next session, does anyone have any question for Puan Shamila?
Hi, Puan Shamila, I have a question. Did you try any social media platform to promote your business, as online business was at fast rate during this pandemic?
Yes, I do. I open the IG, Instagram business. Also open my Facebook pages for my business, and I change my WhatsApp status and WhatsApp into a business WhatsApp. So I also open Shopee shop. Okay, so I sell all my product through this platform.
Okay, what's the account? Maybe you can share.
Sorry, what is it? Sorry, come again.
What's the username? Maybe for
Oh,
IG, maybe
username.
you can follow.
Okay, can. For IG, you can follow me, Kak Shaka. Okay, I will put inside the chat. Okay. There you go. I share it. For IG is Shaka. For Facebook page is Shah Kitchen, and for Shopee is SMJ407. Okay, this one because I already opened my Shopee account, so I cannot change the name, the username. So I just use whatever there. But inside they have I have shop and my personal account.
All right, thank you, Puan Shamila.
Yeah, so if everyone wants to visit Puan Shamila shop, you can go to the page that Puan Shamila share. So if you want to support, you can go there. So Puan, there is another question from Anisha. Good morning, Puan. Do you think of any other alternative job to try during the pandemic, as you are in writer and translator? If yes, share your experience on
Oh
that.
yeah, Yeah, during the pandemic also, I've been invited through Dr. Doris too as a translator and also and teach some Semai languages with the student in Waikato. So I think there's like 10 students learn about Semai language at that time. Okay, and we have a lot of fun. Also during the pandemic, because of a lot of event is cancelled and we cannot do some exhibition workshop. Okay, so what I did is we publish. This is one is for the culture and art, kesenian persatuan, our association. I did some writing and translating a few Semai language. We publish some books, small books to our partner NGOs, to the government, agencies, especially the tourism. Okay, because they demand it from us. So I do the writing. I did write, but I cannot simply, reveal which one. And also I did some presentation for international tourism for Penang, and also get involved with recently with writings also with the Sarawak culture. Some of the outside visitor would like to know about Indigenous and Sarawak Sabah native, so I write some article for them and then we publish it, but it's not under my name, it's under association. Okay, I did they pay good money to me, don't worry about it. Okay.
Thank you, Puan Syamila. There are also questions from Anisha. As all the business has gone down, what actually motivated you to continue your business?
What motivated? Because number one, of course, we want to survive. Okay, maybe that is one of my main source of income, of course. So like by hook or by crook, I need to do something. So by in pandemics, because some business like me, for myself, is a food industries. So food is essential industries that the government allowed to operate during the pandemic. So I'm grateful and thankful for that. Compared to the other businesses, like they totally have to shut down, right, temporarily. So for me, because I provide some food, so I still can operate. But not 100%, because we know that people also saving their money. They won't spend a lot on not necessary things. So like cakes, kuih, only the demand. High demand is especially during the festive season, because that time in the pandemic we also in Hari Raya, right? But people cannot cross the state. So still there is demand, still there is something from my customer. They need the cakes and some kuih, so I still can provide them. So that is motivate me, because my customer really loyal to me. They also want to support me. Okay, that is motivate me to do more.
Thank you, Puan Syamila. Is there any question for Puan Syamila? So I believe there's no question. Thank you, Puan Shamila, for answering all the question. I'm still amazed that Puan Shamila is much flexible person. She really dynamic in everything, like doing all job, and also high in passion. So I believe you can follow Puan Shamila.
Thank you so much, moderator Muhammad Hamdi, for your good words. Thank you. I really appreciate. If you want to follow, you can follow and support my business, or whether you buy or not from my my shop. If you like the pages, also can. It's still something. Support. Like the page and the pictures and so on. Okay, and good luck to you guys in your studies.
So we are almost to the end of our webinar today. We will have a small photography session before we end our webinar. I hope that everyone can open your cameras to take a picture as a memory. So can everyone open your cameras? I pass to the technical.
My camera is still down, not able to switch it on.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. 1, 2, 3. Freestyle. All right, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Be
Thank
safe.
you, Progress.
So
And
thank you
Muhammad.
to our wonderful speakers for sparing your time to join in our webinar. And thank you to our beloved audience for joining and listening to our webinar. Sorry if there was any mistake or misunderstanding from our side. Till we met in the next webinar. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.